X-Men 97 has got to be one of the best television series that I've ever watched. I loved every second of it. With the season finale finally past us, let's talk about X-Men 97 and make sure to stay till the end so we can discuss some predictions I have for season 2. But in case you're new here, welcome to the Crop Top Critic. I'm Alex and I love everything movies, TV, and geek related. And I want you to love that stuff too. So if you're getting value out of this review, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything new. So firstly, I appreciate that X-Men 97 is a direct continuation of the original series and not just another reboot. I can see the love it has for fans of the original series by keeping the characters and storylines and whatnot relatively intact. But I also love how fans who haven't seen the original series can get into X-Men 97 and still be able to follow what's going on. I also love how they upgraded the animation of X-Men 97, because it's 2D like the original series, but the colors have more pop in it, and they do that thing where they incorporate slight 3D animation into it, so the characters seem to just jump off of the screen. I especially love how beautiful it looks whenever there's a fight and the characters are showing off their powers, like Jubilee's fireworks or Nightcrawler's teleportation. It just makes me go, ooh, look at that! Look how pretty that looks! Wow! Speaking of the action, these fights got me so hyped up. Like, it made me want to be in a superhero battle. Like, each one, I could feel the impact of every punch, kick, and blast. It was incredible. I loved that final battle with Bastion and how Rogue was the first person to just jump in, and she was going in on him too. She was like, his name was Gambit. I'm like, yes, queen, whoop them, you know? Or the fight between Wolverine and Nightcrawler versus the Prime Sentinels, like, oh man, just like Nightcrawler had 3 swords and then Wolverine ripped one of the Sentinels in half and then they all teleported at the same time, and like that scene, by the way, was super beautiful. Another shout out to the amazing animation, but just that entire fight was art. Pass X-Men 97 an Emmy right now just for the fights alone. Like, this is incredible. But which fight in X-Men 97 was your personal favorite? Let me know down in the comments below. Also, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. X-Men 97 does an incredible job of making each character really cool, because ever since the live action movies, the general consensus has been Wolverine and the X-Men. But after this series, it's all X-Men. Everyone is epic in their own way, but to me, the character who had the biggest glow up has got to be Cyclops. A lot of people see Cyclops as the goody two-shoes rule follower, but that is not the case in this series, because in X-Men 97, Cyclops is, as the kids would say, him. He's him-clops. As a superhero, Cyclops is a beast. Like, look how this dude falls from the sky and then does the most epic superhero landing of all time. Like, look at that. And socially, Cyclops is a lot more gritty. Like, he's tired of how mutants are being treated in the world. He's angrier, and he's not afraid to let people know. Like, I absolutely loved it when he got brutally honest with that reporter and said that humans should be grateful for mutants, because if mutants were anything like humans, all the humans would be dead. Like, bro said that on live television. So yeah, for me, Cyclops was the coolest character in X-Men 97. But who is your favorite character? I also appreciated all the fun cameos that we got throughout the season, like Captain America, the Incredible Hulk, Daredevil, but my absolute favorite was Spider-Man. Yes, they only showed him for like 4 seconds, but Spider-Man is my all-time favorite superhero, so any amount of screen time that Spider-Man gets makes me a happy geek. It also gives me hope for a potential Spider-Man 98 series. While X-Men 97 is fantastical as a superhero show, I really appreciated how aggressively it portrayed real-life issues within it. The X-Men represent marginalized communities and the dangers that they face on a daily basis, being alienated from your family, targeted by political agendas, attacked by hate groups. Like, that's all presented in this show, and I hope that people will watch this and start making those connections so that when they go out into the real world, they'll have the mindset of, oh man, I don't want to be like Bolivar Trask from X-Men. And from that, they'll become better people. X-Men 97 even deals with genocide, which is an awful lot like a genocide that's currently going on in Palestine. The X-Men would definitely be against the genocide in Palestine and would do everything in their power to stop it, and we all should too. So make sure you check out the links down in the description below to see how you can do your part to help free Palestine. Any little thing helps. Perhaps what was most impressive about X-Men 97 was how it changed our perspective of what is right and wrong, because for the longest time, Magneto was the villain, but after this series and like learning what Magneto knows to be true and like how the world needs to change, it's got me thinking Magneto was right. We've seen Professor X's way, and despite being heroes and saving humanity, mutants are still hated, they're still hunted by man-made killer robots, and they were still on the receiving end of a genocide in Genosha, which killed hundreds of thousands of mutants, if not more. So now, I don't see Magneto as a villain. We should probably start doing things his way. I never thought I would be so annoyed by Charles Xavier, but like, that dude needs to get off his high horse and start listening to Magneto for a change. Maybe in season 2. Speaking of season 2, I'm about to get into some predictions that I have for it, and we'll be getting into some major spoilers, so if you haven't watched the season finale of X-Men 97 yet, pause this video, go watch this, and then come back. I'll wait. I don't have a watch. Okay, Apocalypse! Apocalypse is back! I freaking love Apocalypse. He's like one of my all-time favorite supervillains, especially the animated Apocalypse. Like, he's so epic to me that I got one of his quotes tattooed on my ribs. Like this quote.
I am the rocks of the eternal shore. Crash against me and be broken!
Epic! Now this season ends with the X-Men being split across time, with one group going all the way back to ancient Egypt, to the other group going to the distant future, and then we end it with Apocalypse in the present day in all of his glory in the ruins of Genosha. I believe this teases at the next storyline for season 2, which is going to be the Age of Apocalypse, which essentially is when Apocalypse controls the world. I was totally expecting them to go with the Onslaught storyline for season 2, but as an Apocalypse fan, I was not at all upset by this reveal. I do think they will eventually get to Onslaught, because after everything that Charles Xavier and Magneto went through in the season finale, because you can't have Onslaught without Charles or Magneto, that Onslaught will be teased throughout season 2, and then it will be the big bad of season 3, which has already been confirmed, by the way. But with Apocalypse also comes his Horsemen. So here are my top 4 picks for who potentially could be the 4 Horsemen of Apocalypse. First and most definitely will be Gambit, since we see Apocalypse in Genosha holding Gambit's card and mentioning death. So that must mean that Gambit will become the Death Horseman. For War, I'm gonna say Wolverine. He just had his adamantium ripped out by Magneto after, trying to murder him, so I'm assuming Wolverine's in an emotionally vulnerable position for Apocalypse to just come up and be like, hey, want a job? For the Pestilence Horseman, I'm gonna guess it will be Polaris, the daughter of Magneto. 1, because she was actually a horseman in the comics, but 2, I think Magneto having to fight his own daughter will make for some entertaining television. And for the Famine Horseman, I want to say either Sunfire, who is actually the Famine Horseman in the comics, or Deathbird, because I just think she's really cool and she would make a great horseman. She technically was a horseman in the comics, but she was the War Horseman, but I don't think it really matters. See, like, she'll be cool either way. But what do you think? Who do you want to see as the 4 Horsemen of Apocalypse? And how do you think season 2 will turn out? Overall, X-Men 97 is just simply fantastic. If you're an X-Men fan, if you're a Marvel fan, heck, if you're a Ceiling fan, you are gonna love this show. I can't think of anything I disliked about it. Like, it was absolutely phenomenal. And I'm even more excited to see the X-Men in the live-action MCU. But hopefully we get these versions of the X-Men. But X-Men 97 is going to get a perfect 5 out of 5 crop tops. I love it. But what did you think of X-Men 97? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this review and you want to see more, click on the boxes right here, and I'll see you in a bit.